Okay, guys, so Destiny 2, it's all about teamwork this time. Teamwork. So I thought that the three of us could, become a stronger podcast team and maybe run through some team building exercises.
Okay.
Yeah, a little unusual.
I'm up for anything to make us a better podcast.
All right, so one of the first ideas I have, or from this pamphlet I'm reading actually, is just to be more accountable. So I sort of figured out, none of us are really upset with each other, but we could, apologize for something that we may have just, there was no need for it.
Does it have to be something that was like on the last podcast?
It could be. It could be from something earlier. Like,
okay.
Should we try it? I can go first.
Okay,
Let's go.
I love this. About time. Let's get there.
Okay. All right. So I apologize to you guys for taking a little bit too long to get ready to record. I was doing stuff downstairs, having a snack, getting a drink, and I took my time knowing you guys were ready to record. So I'm sorry for that.
Wow. I can't believe you're willing to own up to that, man. That is, I respect you a little bit more. Because that was really bothering me.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Cool. This is working already.
Nice. Yeah. So I want to take my turn and say that I apologize for the many times that I have slept through us recording a podcast and had to record the next day. I real bad, guys.
Wow. It's nice to hear you say that, Swain. I mean, I love Sleepy Swain. It's a great character, but yeah, sometimes you just want to record and get it over with. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. It feels good to get it off my chest.
Yeah, it doesn't it? It's really nice.
I gotta admit, I'm really impressed by you guys. That took a lot to own up to that, and I think it needed to be said. All right, let's start the show.
Birds.
Well, hold on, Birds. Don't you want to partake? I mean, surely you can think of something. Something
you may have done.
What?
That had adversely affected us too, or the show.
Maybe last week.
What about last week? That was fun. I'm the life of the party. Everyone says so.
Yeah, but like I said, these aren't things we're upset about. Just something. It's accountability.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I accept the fact that Bones, you were late today, and Swain, that you're late in general.
God.
And the last week was really fun week, and we all had a great time.
This is we're just going to get through this another week. Just pretend we like each other. On with the show.
Drink whatever before the podcast. Don't apologize.
It's not how that works.
Guys, we are in it. This is we only get 1 week where we get to have it be a week like this where we get to talk about the whole world playing the Destiny 2 beta, playing Destiny 2 period before it disappears and it leaves us.
It feels like a vacation, like where you're in it and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, it's almost over. Please stop.
A vacation from having to come up with things to talk about on the show.
What are you talking about? Destiny 1 is full of life.
I'm blown away. I'm having so much fun, and I didn't expect to like it this much, but like already, yeah, just playing these 2 maps over and over and over again is more fun than anything else on my PlayStation right now. I can't. I'm gonna go in withdrawal so hard when this thing is over.
Birds, I don't want to call you out right off the bat, but I do want to say that, like you said the first night we were playing, that it's a game you feel like you really could get good at, that you really wanted to play a lot and improve at. And that just made me happy. So it's really awesome to hear that, this game is something that we can really, latch onto it and improve, because that's our job, right? Is to try to get better.
I accept your apology.
You're welcome.
Damn it.
Wait, what just happened?
Before we get too caught up in our initial reactions to Destiny 2, I want to take this moment to say please head on over to iTunes, Stitcher, however you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review of 5 stars or 5 travelers or whatever your podcast thing rates podcasts by. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us find new listeners, helps us climb the ranks, and you get more people to play Destiny with in the community. So head on over, give us a review, and if you haven't subscribed, I don't know why you haven't subscribed. Hit that subscribe button too. And tell a friend. Post it on your Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Get your mom
Please
to
include
listen.
us in your status.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, parents. Hey, you're listening to Crucible Radio, the podcast for all things Destiny 2 PvP. If you are a parent of a child who plays Destiny, you'll have no idea what we're about to talk about for the next hour.
Kind of funny, though, right? If you do play
Destiny, yeah, we're all right.
Standard recommendation I give to family, it's just like, listen to the first 5 minutes.
And then the last 5 minutes. Depends on the week.
Yeah.
That's what I listen to.
Middle section. I'll understand if you skip past it.
They're like, what's a warlock?
Well,
Mom, it doesn't matter.
I get more. I don't understand it. And I'm confused why you've decided to live your life this way. But I guess I'm okay with it.
Is this what you're spending your time doing?
Yeah, there you go. Oh God, that just gave me the chills hearing that.
Well, we do love spending our time talking about this game, and we love it when there is new stuff to talk about. And this is just a beta. We already know it's an old build. We read it in the TWAB. There's stuff that's going to change. It's only 2 maps, 1 strike, 1 story mission. And, a lot of that, the 3 of us have already seen and played. But there's so much to love about this week. It's just...
Where do we begin?
My girlfriend didn't realize that betas don't go till, the game comes out. She was like, I wanted her to play the first mission. She's like, I'll just do it next week. I'm like, you can't. She got really sad. And then it made me sad. And I was like, yeah, you can't. It goes away.
I'm really curious. Has she played any of it yet?
She watched me play the very first mission when I started right on my warlock. And she was very enthralled right off the bat, especially with, the ghost getting turned off basically and stuff and seeing the tower, which of course she calls the town. And she was like, wait, is this the town? And then
the
realized,
town's destroyed.
Yeah. And once she realized that, it was suddenly her expression changed quite dramatically. So she was liking it. Cool.
Yeah. It's interesting to know what someone's impressions of a new game is when they have just discovered the old game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool environments in just this small little bit of Destiny 2 that we've gotten so far. Mm-hmm. Whether it's PvP maps or we talked a lot about Midtown on previous podcasts after we did the reveal, but seeing Nessus was really cool, seeing that on the PvP map and getting to go around in the strike. That strike was so cool.
Yeah, strike was fun. I've been wondering about Nessus when you're flying in. Oh, and just let me say, the spaceship animations, the flying around animations. Oh my God, I'm going to be able to stare at this for quite a while.
Can I be upset about something for a moment? This is the worst part of the beta for me. The worst part. I started my Titan. Everything's all good. Getting the story mission going and all that. And I realized they just give you a ship. Any ship that is in there.
I think I know where this is going.
And they gave me the hunter ship.
Oh.
It's got a big ass snake on it. And that's not me. I'm a Titan. And I'm really upset.
I didn't want no big ass snake.
I'm not a snake guy.
Everybody's going to think I'm going to show up in this hunter ship. And they're like, oh, is this some sort of dainty hunter? But no, it's me. My big shield. My fists.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, we're currently. Hold on. What is this? Ooh, is this like a schnitzel or something?
Leave this in, engineer Andrew.
she brought me a piece of schnitzel.
More to apologize for.
Oh my God.
He's gonna eat on this episode too.
Oh man, that's really good.
Sure.
Did
you bring enough for everyone?
No. You can just listen to me chew and imagine how good that schnitzel is. I want to know how on Nessus.
Oh, of course, he starts with his own opinion.
when you're flying into Nessus to go to the Endless Veil, when you're over the planet, there's this like these giant raised rectangles piercing the cloud line, or squares, just like but you're up in space, they're giant, and it's like, okay, as you're walking around on the planet, you see the Vex structures and they've got plants on top, whatever, they're perfectly square. But those are some really big squares. What kind of planet is this?
Can you bring Mrs. Birds back and have her describe the planet, the actual planet, to us?
Oh, she has definitely not watched 2 seconds of Destiny 2 yet. Or she came in and she was like, that looks cool.
I'm going to sound really dumb right now, but is it a real planet?
Yeah, it's a moon.
It's a moon, yeah. So can she tell us about the real one? Or can you?
Okay, yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me get her. Yogi!
It's going to go great.
You've been paged. Is Nessus a real moon?
Sorry, say that again.
Nessus.
Nessus?
Yeah, what's planet is around?
Saturn? No.
Saturn? Is that a real thing?
I'll look it up.
Nessus space planet.
It sounds like a made up one, but maybe it's real.
Oh, now Bucky's in here too. The cat's in here and he's squeaking them. You guys have really done it.
I've undone the podcast. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Get out.
Do you want one fork?
Wait, did they really make up new places?
I think they did. Okay, you're dismissed. They probably would not appreciate the second time. Okay, Bucky, out. Wow.
Oh, wait. This one's called 7066 Nessus, and it's a centaur that was discovered by David L. Rabinowitz. But centaur means a tiny, icy planet, so I don't know why they have to call it centaurs.
Oh.
And it orbits much closer to the sun than Uranus, and it moves well beyond the orbit of Neptune.
So it's like its own little thing.
Way
It just
out
kind of
there.
hangs out.
7066.
That's pretty far out there, right?
Why aren't we talking about that? That seems like a thing.
Yeah.
It's close, right?
Anyway, this is pretty cool. It means probably small. So, expect a maybe smaller patrol area.
Well, I was wondering about that because you can walk around a little bit before the strike. And then I went back and looked up the map, and someone had drawn the path that the strike takes. And based on that overhead map of Nessus, the strike goes way off of it, which means that the rest of the space we just haven't even seen. All in all, there's a lot more to explore, and I'm actually pretty stoked because it was already pretty cool to just walk around that initial area of the strike.
Oh, yeah.
All right. This is a podcast for PvP. We spent the first 14 minutes talking about not that.
Well, Andrew will fix that, so it should be shorter than
So
14.
13 and a half minutes.
Nice punchy pork schnitzel and unanswered planet question section. All right. Well, so we got to take our time to talk about this beta. As we discussed this week, let's cover the fun stuff. Let's talk about guns and gear and loadouts. But before we get to that, we got to play all 6 subclasses. And we got some thoughts. We should go in depth next week. But I'm just curious, so far, what have been the standouts? What are the go-tos for you guys?
I try to get my hands on all of them. I've definitely spent a little bit more time with a few, and I can't possibly, make my decision on a favorite just yet. More for next week. But I will say that Arcstrider has impressed me like I thought it would. And I'm enjoying it. Voidwalker has impressed me in ways I didn't think it would. And I'm really loving the neutral game, and I'm really, really enjoying Blink again. And that's just such a nice return to my original favorite thing. So I feel really good about Blink. Not to say it'll be the new meta, but I just love that it's there and it works. And that's my take.
Well, dang, that's what I was going to say. I looped through all of them, and I came back to Arcstrider pretty hard, but Voidwalker surprised me. And it's tough because we don't have the other subclass paths to try. You get locked into a specific build. But that was one that they didn't really change all that much. I mean, a couple big changes for sure. It's not like I was a heavy Voidwalker player in D1. But I just really enjoyed the kit. I thought it felt good. I thought it all fit together really well. And the new Blink is familiar, but strange and wonderful. And I really like having an evade. So Hunter or Blink option. It's just hard to beat. The other ones were fun, but I just didn't click with them.
I've played
the same way.
2 subclasses.
True to form. Purist.
And I thought I would like the Sentinel more than I did. More than I actually did. It's a tough one. And I probably need a lot more time with the actual super. Getting one per game and then some, like, on average, you get like 0.75 supers per game. Like, there's definitely some games where I didn't get one, or we mercied them and I didn't get one, or this, that, and the other thing. So I'm not as familiar with it as I would like to be. But Striker, like the rework Striker for me is amazing. And
what do you like about it? Because I like it too.
I really like it because it's I don't know, for lack of a better way to say it, it's punchy. There's lots of like aggressiveness to it, between the shoulder charge, the actual super, and the grenades that are built into it. The grenades are pretty sweet.
One thing that really surprised me, playing Arc Strider, playing Striker, playing Sentinel, playing all these roaming supers, is like there's a considerable skill ceiling on these new supers.
Yeah.
Like the Arc Strider combo game alone, and these combos exist for I think a lot of the roaming supers. There's a learning curve, and especially with Arc Strider having that limited mobility, you have to pop in the right place. You have to be ready to go. But I'll just say I've had a couple really hot Arc Strider supers and a whole lot more where I just like popped it and did it wrong and didn't evade and got shot or couldn't chase people down. But got to see a certain someone who knew what they were doing playing Arc Strider pop that super and do well with it and go, yes, okay. There's a way to do this. I just don't know it yet.
So demoralizing to get your one super and then pop it and get like melted immediately. And you're like,
yeah.
All right. Well, also, I wanted to throw in here, if you're listening to this on Monday and you still have an evening of beta play left and you want to try the Striker out, use the pulse grenade and use it on the ground or on walls. It's got a huge area of effect, and treat it like an electric swamp on B. It's so good. Throw both of them on there, and no one can touch B for like 15 seconds.
I do think the flashbang rework is nice as well. And I don't know if it's a rework for balance purposes or just the new visuals and stuff, but I feel like I wasn't blind completely, but I had blurred vision for longer, which almost made it okay as the person getting hit, and then also kind of impressed that it was a pretty effective grenade to kind of keep me out of there for a while. So I like that there's more choices than just the classic, the lightning grenade. But we will get into that in great depth next week, because this is a 2-part beta episode, because there's just too much to talk about.
It really is.
Okay. Let's talk about gear. And we should go through it systematically. But I think just to kick us off, just to give everyone a sense of where we ended up, what loadout have you guys really been using as your main so far? List it out.
I would say I probably use the most Scathe and Nurgle pulse rifle. So that's the Scathe is the auto rifle. The Nurgle is the pulse rifle. And I finally got diffusions. So I've been swapping back and forth.
I would say Scathe as well. I use the Nightshade quite a bit, but Scathe just feels great. And the Minuet 42, the hand cannon in the secondary, I love that gun. I think it's great. I know it's a little weird to adjust from D1 hand cannons, but I love that initial accuracy perk. And then in the heavy slot, I'm really digging the linear fusion. I mean, it's just so cool and feels the coolest to get a kill, even if that main ingredient is just absolutely nasty.
Bones, I really liked what you said about hand cannons initially, when a lot of people were upset because they do feel a little off, and a lot of things feel off. But I'm mostly, giving that to me not being used to Destiny 2 yet.
Mhm.
But they feel off, and what you said was perfect, and it made a lot of sense to me about the fact that you could just go for body shots, and you can push the range a little bit with body shots.
Yeah. I need to ask, Fallout for some exact numbers, but basically with bigger health pools and stuff, it's not all about that instant 3-tap, assuming they're not running like something like 0 resilience. If you're running that, pro tip, bring up your resilience to like 3. Otherwise you might be getting triple tapped by hand cannons. But when it's not about that and it's just about the more consistent damage, you can take more risks with the gun, and it's still not going to be disgustingly effective at some absurd range. You need to have a pulse with you or a scout with you to counteract that, but it still isn't as punishing. You don't feel like you're just wasting ammo by taking shots from too far out. And I know that's what people want out of D1 hand cannons. So it's a really fine line to walk, but I think they're gonna be fine.
What about you, Birds?
Well, I guess this must be the meta, and I'm a meta bitch. But Skadelock and Nurgle and the regular fusion rifle. I haven't gotten the linear one to drop yet, which makes me sad. I love that loadout so much. But before I had those on my hunter, I was using Better Devils and the Black Scorpion Scout rifle in my secondary slot, and man, I really like that scout rifle, and people have very mixed feelings on it. This is the automatic scout, but especially on that control map where you've got some slightly longer distances, I was loving it. It felt like a super low rate of fire auto rifle, and yeah, a very effective team contribution, man.
Can I just say that is it Viced?
Yes.
The reload animation on the linear fusion rifle is amazing.
Yeah, there's some cool little effects on all of those guns, actually.
Some little weird like breathing thing after you like load it. So cool. Little things like that.
That brought me back to like the Halo days of the Covenant weapons sort of charging with that weird sort of pulse plasma that they use and stuff like that. And it really made it feel like, not an alien race gun. We didn't just pick it up off of a dead cabal, but that
future gun.
Yeah, we've tapped into some non-human technology or something like that to make some pretty awesome guns. The visuals are just outstanding on all of these weapons.
Oh yeah, I mean even more than that. Like I just like the way all of the Viced guns look. They're so cool, and I in particular like. I mean, again, this is a small thing. I don't know why it makes such a big difference to me. So many of the guns are beat up, which is fitting in the story of D2. We're on the run. We had to grab what we could, and what we have is probably used at this point. But I'm just comparing it to like the vanilla Crucible weapons that are just like that perfect blue and red kind of paint job. It just looks so kind of Fisher pricey.
Yeah.
And all this stuff is just fire. Oh, it looks so cool. And I think my favorite thing is the long range scope on the Skadelock that looks like a mitoscope when you're looking down it, but when you're just when you're not ADSing, you've got like this mirrored yellow sunglass reflection thing, and you can see things reflected in it. It just looks so cool. It's that. I don't know if anyone else is using that scope. It's so wonderful. It feels so good.
I want to say that the Viced, armory probably stole some stuff like technology from the Hive or something. It's got a very Hivey feel to it.
Hivey without immediately getting gross and making me bored of it immediately. Dreadnought.
Oh.
I hate the Hive. I'm going to have a bias against them for the next 10 years. I don't care.
All right, so how should we do this? I mean, I think, okay, so let's talk about these guns in more detail. But I think before we could get to that, I think we're able to talk about these guns in a way that we weren't in D1. What do you guys think about the fixed roles?
Well, I think there's I got to steal a quote from the guy who makes them. I think he'll happily be okay with me saying this. We played with Nusk, and he pointed out that they get a chance to have their own personality, and that's exactly what it feels like. Knowing that this gun does this, and it will always do this, and you're not going to get some sort of garbage version of it, like it came out through the machine wrong and got all bent up, and you need to dismantle it immediately. The fixed guns have styles, and you know what they do, and it's really cool. So that when we say, hey, you guys like that minuet hand cannon, you know why. Not just because, yeah, great aim assist on that thing, right? Make sure it's hidden hand and rifled.
It feels like, though, like it when you see when you go to build your loadout, you're like, oh, how do I want to build this? Like, it makes it easier. You're not like sifting through your entire vault, like going through everything you have and be like, oh my God, I got like, where's my one with this roll? It's like, I just need to find the gun. Like, let me find the scathe lock, because there's one. I don't have to worry about it. And you may be able to tell the difference between, your favorites. Like, oh, I have a scathe lock and I tricked it out with this mod and this paint job, and it looks amazing. So it's your scathe lock, but it's still got the same roll as everyone else's. I love it.
And
I believe the way Noose described it was that it lets you talk about legendaries in the same way that we talk about exotics today.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have that identity, and that you can just have a meaningful conversation about a gun, instead of just like, well, it could be okay, but they put too much oil on the frame and now you don't want to touch it anymore.
So slippery.
There's also something to say about the information you get from your opponent. And obviously it looks like we're not going to be inspecting people flying in anymore, but you get shot and you sort of know, okay, that guy's got this style. He prefers this. Now I know how to think about that, as opposed to, ideally not seeing the same gun in everyone's hands. But I think a big part of it too is that I can sort of decide which guns I like based on archetype and weapon type. So, for example, the does not compute, which is the scout rifle in the primary slot. It reminds me of a high impact scout. So it's got a nice kick. It'll do damage if you hit the headshots, but it's not smooth like I like scout rifles to be. So I kind of know that it's not my thing and that it's not going to become my favorite weapon, but I can give it a shot, and I can make enough slight tweaks to change it to make it more comfortable for me without, completely shattering the identity of the gun by putting some different perk on it.
I've had so much fun just exploring the perks, and it's tough when, there are no private matches or anything. You can't go out on patrol yet to test it out, but just exploring the different perks, how they feel. I know, like with Better Devils, when because I use that a lot. I thought it was great in PvE, but first getting it into the Crucible and going, this isn't quite working for me. I'm spending a lot of time reloading and getting shot, and then realizing it's got drop mag on it. Great perk, by the way, where you'll never feel the pain of the downside in PvP or probably anywhere else. And yeah, just dialing it in, or again with Scathe Lock, like getting to go through the different scopes and getting to that last one and just going, oh, this is it. Someone put this scope on this gun for a reason, and I'm going to use it for that reason. Yeah,
for a reason, Birds. That's like the best way to say it, is that this isn't just pure randomness of perks. And, we get the philosophy behind RNG perks, like maybe your role becomes unique and works in a way that other roles don't, but we've completely cut out this part where you get something that just doesn't make sense, either for the gun, the archetype, or you. All of the perks do make sense, and it's just up to you if you like that style or that feel.
Any other standouts from that primary section? I think basically everyone is running Scathe Lock at this point. But there is some interesting stuff in this slot that we got to play with. I mentioned Better Devils. And Bones, you like Nightshade. I've had it on my other characters. I just got it to drop on my Hunter today, and I played it a bit. I'm not sure about it. What do you like about it?
Well, I have to say I like the Nurgle more in the secondary slot in terms of pulse rifles. But once you get a handle of the kill clip perk, which is essentially reactive reload, I believe, this basically offers increased damage after a kill. I just started to notice that because of the longer times to kill, because of the way fours work, where you get in these team battles that you're shooting multiple targets, so it can actually apply almost more than I feel like reactive reload perks applied for me in D1. So I just appreciate the smoothness of it, and I use Tactical Mag on that, which is this cool new perk that they have on quite a few guns, and it basically gives you slight bumps to about 3 stats. That's my kind of thing. Don't give me something weird. Give me a gun that just feels the best, and I can pair that with something like an SMG or a hand cannon in the second slot. I need that long range, and it's just, I like it better than the Scout for range.
Man, I haven't really gotten too much time with looking at the perks and everything. I just kind of been playing with the guns and kind of seeing which one I like the most.
Well, primary slots, and you're on your Titan, Swain. We got to talk about Sweet Business.
That's an interesting gun. I don't know.
Have you been giving anyone the business?
Sweet business.
I haven't given much time to it. It's a little bit. It's got that learning curve to it where you want to. You have to spin it up as you're going around corners, and once you get it spun up, you got to be ready for someone to be right there. I think that comes with like time with the map and time with like the gun. And I don't necessarily want to dedicate all of my time to learning that one specific gun. So I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. Like if I spend more time with it, but not right now.
You did point out there that it was a cool little feature with the barrier that reloads your guns. having a gun with a huge mag, but a really slow reload time, being able to just duck down. That's pretty cool.
Never stop firing.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I feel like that plus like the putting up the full size barrier with that one and spinning it up behind the barrier and then stepping out sort of at full speed. So you do have some visibility. You're not just sort of going blind around a corner. Mm-hmm. That does seem like a skill. Like I understand why they gave that one to the Titan. But yeah, I still have not seen anyone use it as effectively as what we saw in that gameplay video.
Use your abilities, please. Especially the Warlocks. Please use them. I need the heal.
Everybody always relying on the Warlocks.
It's incredible. Like it is insane, and it lasts for so long. So
also, don't walk through the other team's abilities. It will melt you.
Oh, wait, it does?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it'll almost kill you outright.
What? That's crazy. I had no idea.
It slows you down and starts to take away your health, and you just feel stuck, and it hurts.
That would explain some deaths that I had.
That's why I've been thinking about things a little bit differently because of that. It's like we could just put Titan barriers on all the doors, and then they would have to walk through them and get hurt to get into us for Countdown specifically.
Last thing about primaries, I think I'm the only one who used the needle, the sidearm in the primary slot. I'm not going to say it's great, but I do really, really love seeing my Warlock floating in my inventory holding that dinky little thing in his hand. It looks so funny.
It fits right in your pocket.
Yep.
I don't know. They don't feel right. They just don't. Maybe
it's the rate of fire, man. It's the rate of fire.
It's so strange. I really gave the showrunner a fair shake. I gave all of the SMGs a fair shake. I really wanted to find a use for them, and I think there is really close up when there's no power ammo on the board and you hip fire with it. Like I read that tip today to don't ADS at most ranges with the SMGs because it's just so much easier to track and to control the recoil with them. But I could just not get kills with them. I could clean up kills. I could melt people at close range, but I don't know. I felt like there were better choices than in both slots than those SMGs. But prove me wrong. I think some people have really found a spot for them. So it'll be interesting to see once we got some more guns to work with.
I do want to kind of comment on the thing as a whole, like the beta as a whole. you can tell from the way they were talking and for the way the game plays is that they're relying heavily on team play. Like, you need to work together for control, like controlling the map and making sure you have two of the points at all times, and like smartly attacking each point. It definitely feels like a very team player or oriented game. And you see it through like the balance. Like, the balance feels pretty nice, but you're seeing it turn into like a lot of like cleanup kills or like team shots.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I die because I'm making mistakes that in D1 I probably would have lived through, or I would have died in a different way too. And I'm finding like, oh man, I got to be a little bit more careful going around corners or attacking two people at a time, because a lot of times that like 2-person attack, I'm not going to live through. Whereas I might have in, D1.
I think that's probably the reason why we're seeing Skadelock and Nurgle so dominant in this beta build, because they feel like they have just a little bit of a time to kill edge on them compared to a lot of the other guns, or maybe they're easier to aim. I'm not sure what it is, but I just consistently win more of my ones with those two. And that difference makes it feel unlike most of the other guns where I don't have to rely on team shots. That if my aim is on point and I'm at medium range and I'm using Nurgle, I'm probably going to win it. And that, yeah, I think a lot of finding the meta in D2 is going to be about finding those little edges that take you off the dependency on team shots, or give you, some ability to slay and sort of make plays on your own without power ammo, that were just entirely routine in D1 with, the crispy 3-tap or anything in your secondary slot.
You guys enjoy the fact that it's a primary like focused game, like where you only have the 2 primaries and then the power ammo, pops up every so often?
I quite enjoy the added layer of, comboing my loadout.
Yes.
What I really enjoy a lot so much about Destiny and how my playstyle sort of changes over time is like, I follow the meta, but I also love the combination of a primary and a secondary. So the Last Word and Sniper is such a beautiful combination because you have that hyper close versus hyper far sort of thing. And if you want to get those mid-range kills, that's where your skill comes in, but it just feels so good together. Same with like the old Hawksaw and shotgun. Now I feel like there's a new layer to that. I get to combo my hand cannon with a scout rifle and then decide, well, this build has some range covered. Maybe I want to get a shotgun in here, or maybe I'll go auto rifle, hand cannon, and then use a sniper if I really want some range. It's just great.
Let me paint you a word picture real quick.
Please. I love word pictures.
You're like a month into Destiny 2. You acquire a scout rifle that you really love, similar to how you really love Not Like the Others. And you just fall in love with how this gun feels, how it functions. And you also have a hand cannon you really like. And you can have both. And also, you can modify the gun that you love, the Not Like the Others, gun. And you could make an awesome paint job on it, change the way it looks, put a mod on it. Like, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh.
That makes me feel like I own the gun rather than I have a good roll on this one and it looks like everyone else's.
Yeah. It's not, look at me, I got lucky. This is the best IS Luna. This is all I need. It's like, check out these 2 guns or 3 guns that I feel are awesome. This is what I love. And yeah, I can still follow the meta like that, but they're going to be my meta weapons.
I would totally like draw on my gun or like paint it. It'd be pretty cool.
I love the double primaries. I love it. I love switching between them. I love engaging at a distance with a pulse and then going, all right, time to go in, and just jumping in and switching to an auto midair. it feels so good. And I think it makes a lot of, like, it lengthens the engagement when you can unload an entire clip and then switch to another gun without having to reload. It really lets you chain it together, and then you add in the I think it's marksman's dodge and keep on going. The ability to really just put together longer combos without having to switch to like a shotgun to get the majority of your kills, I think is great. I love how fluid it is. I love, just the back and forth of it, and just doing something that I wish I'd done more of in D1, which is, even if I don't see the enemy, knowing where I am on the map and saying, okay, I am now going to be at this engagement range. Let me just have the right gun in my hands for this one. Okay, I'm closing in. I'm now in a different range. I'm in close range. Let me switch to this one and just have it out and just constantly be going back and forth, judging the situation constantly. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, there was one that when I noticed this, how it felt so good with the double primaries, was when I was playing Blade Dancer. Sorry, Arc Strider. You know, that new one. And I did the roll melee combo, which recharges, you know, each perk, and having the ability to roll, punch, shoot, roll, punch, shoot more, and I'm never reloading in that time, was awesome. And obviously at a certain point I had to back up. I lost my melee charge or something like that, and then I needed to reload. But that whole engagement was like 20 seconds long, and it was awesome. It felt so like action packed and that sort of thing. And it was totally because I didn't have to back out and just reload my primary to keep going.
Also, Swain, to your point, I'm interested to see, like, I mean, granted, it's early days, but I'm interested to see just how little consensus there is on what the meta roll for each weapon is. Like, you get 3 scopes and 2-second perks, and talking to people, and like, okay, there's some, like, okay, you're going to want drop mag on Better Devils if you're playing PvP, fine. But the scope choices and a lot of the secondary perk choices, like, it didn't seem like there was a clear right answer. I could see myself using both of them. And so even without the random rolls, even with these limited fixed rolls, there could still be a pretty big difference between my Scathe Lock and your Scathe Lock. And neither of them is necessarily more right, just depending on how you want to use it. It's just a wider meta. There's, I don't know, it's more interesting. There's more things in it.
Mm-hmm.
More things. Ugh.
Let's talk about these secondaries. Bones, you talked a little bit about Minuet. I love the Black Scorpion, and I would proudly use that gun in a lot of situations. What else stood out here?
Only the Nurgle for me. I like having the pulse rifle in the second slot, simply because, well, the pulse elemental in the second slot, because a lot of times someone will pop a super like far away, and I know that if I can put space between me and them and turn around, I have a very good chance of downing them before they get to me. I like that. I like having that option.
I agree. Yeah, I found myself doing a lot of Titan barrier melting with my pulse rifle in that secondary slot. And that is a very effective strategy. If people focus that thing, it does not last very long. I really like the Sunshot, and I had a ton of fun using it in PvE. I think I tried it once in PvP and I've not gone back, but it definitely feels exotic. That little ball of ammo.
You know what? I think you'll want to use Sunshot more after you get shot with it more, because it is obnoxious. Like it really lets you know what you're getting hit with, and you're just like, God, stop, God, cut it out. And you just start getting all this explosion in your face. Like, it reminded me of Thorn, not in the sense that it was so utterly dominant, but that it really lets you know what you're getting hit with, and it made you think, like, you know what, maybe I can come out on top of this fight, but I kind of just want to leave because this is bothering me. Like, it has a very strong effect to the person getting shot.
Well, I like aggravation as a strategy. Maybe I'll give it a chance. I will say, out of the SMGs I tried, I probably had the most luck with Red Mamba, and it definitely looks cool to have those elemental shots. Yeah, it was fun just like running around the map and seeing what looked like Zalo supercells everywhere, just like so many rapid fire arc shots going out at the same time. Anyone try the Urchin? I could not get down with the urchin.
Did I get it? I don't know.
That's the
Don't think I
spooky
did.
sidearm.
Got like 6 of them. Yeah, it's a little spooky.
You know, this is what I was saying. I mentioned the rate of fire earlier. The needle is a slower rate of fire, which I find to be at all usable with a controller trigger. But really fast sidearms have always felt really weird to me because I can't do it comfortably with my finger. Like I can't hit that max rate of fire and the accuracy that I need to get a kill. So I do like the slower rate of fire one in the primary, but my theory was that, they might need to be a bit stronger to really get used, but that if anyone's going to use it, it might be a mouse and keyboard player because a mouse seems way more capable of hitting that max rate of fire while maintaining any sort of accuracy. But I just don't think the urchin feels comfortable at all in my hands, regardless of what kind of damage it can actually do. It's just a weird... completely based on feel for me. They just feel strange.
What about Risk Runner? I had a fun chat with Bonji, who swore by Risk Runner, and it seems okay. It's just like it felt like I was always running out of ammo on it so quickly. But yeah, that one I don't know if I've really used or understood the exoticness of it yet.
Yeah, that strikes me as a PvE thing. Where Zalo is awesome when it's time to play Arc Strikes that week in Destiny 1, but the nice exotic base stats are okay. Sidearms just as a whole feel very strange as well, and I think they're new. I can't say that I'm totally comfortable with them yet. I just love it if they were a little more smooth, really up close, so they could be the ultimate defense weapon, ultimate don't punch me weapon, not the ultimate I'll kill you from the power ammo to the B flag, just like get away from me. Like if you're going to be an aggressive player, I want my SMG to be the thing that makes you hesitant to push. But right now they just they feel a little spastic. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think you described them as squirrely early on.
Yeah, they're very squirrely.
That's a good way to put it. Like, yeah, they maybe it's just, we don't aim as well or they'll play different on PC. It feels like if you can just keep it locked on somebody's head, they're great, but they're just, not as forgiving as some of the other guns. Well, anything else for secondaries, or should we move on to power weapons?
I did find myself liking the Deathstalker, which is the Viced auto rifle. Viced is actually surprising me. Yeah, so what the Viced auto rifle does and Scavelock is that they both have perks that relate to increased accuracy in the lower portion of the magazine. And like you start shooting it and you're just like, oh, I don't know if I like this. It feels kind of weird. But if you get that first kill, you realize the second one just feels super sticky. And that lower half of the mag really like sucks onto their face to finish out the kill. And it just ended up really, really helping me in a few situations. It's a little weird to get used to, but it was one of the guns I had to use quite a bit before I started liking it.
Yeah, I used it a little bit. I dig it if I'm going for like an auto rifle pulse. I'm running what's the primary one?
Nightshade.
Nightshade, yeah. If I'm running Nightshade, I usually run that.
Shall we go on to the main ingredient,
Ah!
which is power ammo or power weapons in general, but the main ingredient in particular?
The main ingredient is the main ingredient in most Destiny 2 games so far, I think.
Everyone out there, bunch of posers, all of a sudden think that they are hot shit with
I
fusion
think they know how to voop.
Yeah.
Voop with the best.
They definitely feel like Destiny 2 fusion rifles are different. Like, granted, we've only had one to try, but they just feel different than Destiny 1. It felt like if I land that first bolt in a good spot, like somewhere around their knees, like just guaranteed voops. There was not a single case where I didn't just melt someone with it, where I couldn't say, oh yeah, my aim was off. I was lucky to get anything there. Just so much more reliable and easy, much easier to go off and get, 4+ kills in a single mag of it, assuming you can stay alive.
There were so many people that were like, why would you even use it? Like, are you sure you're going to even use fusion rifles in Destiny 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will.
Yes, I will.
They are incredible. Oh my
do
god.
I want one rocket launcher kill, or do I want to get 5 fusion rifle kills from really far away?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's good.
Yeah. Maybe we should reserve judgment on fusions as a whole in D2 until we can get to play some others. But if they're half as good as main ingredient is, then I think it's gonna be a D2 Voot meta. Speaking of which, I've not got it to drop yet on any character. I'm so sad. Can you guys just tell me about the linear fusion rifle, the D2 Queensbreakers? Because I want it so bad.
It's interesting. It's tough to suggest it when like scoping for that long is tough. Like it feels like an open air sniper rifle, of course, but like, and it's fun. But when you're getting team shot through most of this game and you're getting flinched, it's tougher to be like, okay, I'm going to use this over the regular fusion rifle.
It's like someone put a holographic scope on a swordfish.
All right.
Huh. I don't know what that means, and I suppose I won't. Wait, is the plural of swordfish?
Yeah.
Don't say swordfishes.
It's like
Sword
ravioli
fishies?
or deer.
You're gonna be sleeping with the swordfish.
The swordfishies.
How much ammo do you get for a power ammo pickup with the Tarantula?
Isn't that just tarantula?
Tarantula? I think isn't regular one spelled differently?
Tarantula.
I feel like we're so used to pronouncing stuff so weird in
Oh wow!
Destiny.
No, that is just how you spell tarantula. I'm embarrassed. Tarantula. Okay, it's tarantula. Got it. Okay.
Well, to compare it to the Copa per head, the usual sniper rifle.
Yikes.
It's, I don't know. When there's lots of flinch and control, multiple angles and stuff like that, it is tough to use. I had a hard time getting shots on, and flinch is very noticeable with these power weapons that require scoping. But I did find it to be sticky. I found it to feel good when I was lining up those shots. There's something about the pacing that made it easier for me to time it. And I had some very obvious snipes that I felt like I should have hit and I just missed, almost because it was like, shooting the non-moving target challenge is weirdly hard. But it does feel good because it's open. There's not a big chunky thing on your screen comparing it to the Queenbreaker. I like the low zoom scope a lot. And the only other sniper we have to compare it with has a pretty high zoom scope and pretty low impact. I just felt like Tarantula actually, let me hit some nice shots that I wouldn't have pulled off with a sniper. Surprising crazy shots for like right out of blink and stuff like that. I'll say this. It's not a gun that's going to be dominant. It's not going to be the best thing. It's not going to be what everyone uses in a tournament. It'll definitely look the coolest when you get the clips. And I do want to get those clips just to have them for myself. It's one thing I just want to improve for
I
myself.
want those clips.
Give me the clips.
I like that retro futurist. I've not used it that much, but
it's nice.
Oh yeah, and is it the top barrel that is essentially shot package?
Yeah, we got to talk about these barrels because this is one of the more interesting perk setups on any gun so far. So the retro futurist is the only shotgun we have. It's got a magazine of 7 with the right perk. I can't quite compare it to any sort of impact that we know of right now in D1. But these 3 barrel mods do very interesting things. So with the first one is called Full Choke, and it's got a tightened barrel, so it reduces projectile spread when aiming down sights at the cost of precision damage. So this is kind of like shot package, minus the precision damage. And it feels really good. It feels very consistent when you get those nice aimed shots. On the other hand, if you really want to use the other perks, the second one, polygonal rifling, increases stability.
Polygonal?
Polygonal rifling? I don't know. We'll It's like haka.
Polygamy.
You can say it however you want. Yeah, you're not going to really buff stability on a shotgun in PvP. And then the third one, though, is smooth bore. And this greatly increases range at the cost of more projectile spread. And you can look in the fruit space, that range chunk goes up quite a bit. Like that's a significant range increase, and you're getting the precision damage now for critical hits with a shotgun. I did think that full choke worked a little bit better with even losing the precision hits, but the smooth bore is definitely noticeable when it comes to just the sheer range output.
Fallout, make a video. Release it on the last day of the beta. Release it the day before D2 comes out, and they've changed how all of this works. But tell me which one is better, please. Fallout. Yeah, I was impressed with it, and I'm happy they went with a shotgun in D2 that feels like an actual shotgun. I mean, it was in aggregate probably the touchiest subject in all of D1. I mean, it's not what people are talking about now, but even still. And they could have gone with a really limited shotgun where, like, double tap is the norm or something, or you have to follow up with the melee afterwards. I found, and especially on Midtown, playing Countdown on it, where you're likely in close quarters, this thing felt very effective. You get plenty of ammo on it. Yeah, they gave you a real deal shotgun. But it's not the only choice because you've got such other good options in there.
I think the best part about power ammo is the fact that one person gets it. And it happens often enough in the game. It's not like they're like, oh, we're going to give it to everyone, but it's going to happen once. I like the frequently happening, and only one person gets it more.
Pro tip right here, if you're not already and you're playing with a group, call out every power ammo drop, divvy them up between your team, make sure that you can control it, because it's a game changer. And I think a lot of people just sort of don't really pay attention until it hits 15. They go, oh, I'm close, I'll go stand and wait for it.
Yeah.
But going up against groups that prepared for it, controlled it, even like would give up B to get that power ammo and just take it right back, was so effective. And I think really elevates the special ammo game from parts of D1 to just a core part of the experience. If you want to win, you have to control the power ammo.
Yeah. And it's not like you're going to spend, it's not like when all the supers happen and you're like, all of a sudden I have to cower in a corner because, it's super time, or back in D1 when it's like, oh, heavy ammo dropped. Okay, I'm not going to use my super or do anything absurd for, 45 seconds to a minute and a half, because I know that someone might still have heavy. I like it more because you're just like, all right, that's part of the flow. All of a sudden, someone has like a shotgun, or, you'll see the glint of a sniper rifle, and you're like, ooh, that guy has power ammo. And you can even see who gets it, like in the feed. So-and-so picked up such and such ammo. It even tells you like, oh, they're using a sniper. And you look down real quick. All right, don't get into any weird lanes.
Don't peek.
Yeah.
I guess, Swain, sort of to your point of having it only drop for one person, I think that does another thing, which is that in the same way that you only need one person to cap a point, it encourages your team to spread out, right? Like they don't want everyone to get Nova bombed all standing in one little scrum together. That you, as a group of four, can really control two different areas or spread out, between 2 points. That I thought was, I thought it was a good incentive, and especially on Countdown, it really discourages having all four go to rugs or, having everyone follow the same path. It really sets up that opening game to say spread out. I mean, we have to watch, we have to consider our options and be ready to rotate. But when two people on your team pick up power ammo at the same time, that's a good sign. And even if one of you gets Nova bombed, someone else is coming with a grenade launcher. Speaking of which, what do you guys think about this grenade launcher? I was into it at the Destiny reveal event. I am having mixed feelings about it now.
I was just about to say the same thing. It is not quite as reliable. I felt like I was loving it in Countdown, where I'd pick it up on the far side, run over and just go chunk, chunk, get a couple kills. And I used it last night and just missed most of the shots. Maybe it's a different gun. I think the other one was that one that has like 4 Ds in the name or something like that. But it's clunky. It's weird. I can't quite get it to just, do part of the work for me, if that's a fair thing to say.
The arc of the shots is very strange. When I had a height advantage, I was having better luck with it, but like trying to shoot from the power ammo pickup up to B on Endless Veil was just a total crapshoot. Like just getting it to land near B was challenging enough. I also felt like the damage output of it was so variable that like you could hit. There was times when I felt like I was hitting 2 people dead on for like, I don't know, like 120 each or something, a huge amount of damage. And then other times I would unload the entire thing at one person at point blank range and they'd have a little bit of their shield missing. Yeah, I mean, and maybe if we're talking about a PvE weapon where you're just unloading it into huge crowds of enemies that you can afford to miss shots because you miss who you're aiming for, you probably hit someone else. But yeah, I used it a lot at the beginning in PvP when I didn't have any other good drops on my hunter, and I'm not really a sniper. But as soon as I got that fusion, just switched off and never looked back.
I haven't even used the rocket launcher. Is that any good?
You get one.
You just get one.
That's fine. Yeah,
that's okay. I've used them a billion times in D1. I'm honestly good for a break.
Yeah, right. I'm not in any rush to shoot a very limited number of rocket people. Rocket people. I mean, came out. Well, I mean, I said as much. Like, I'm not a sniper. I tried it a bit. Tried to get a handle on it. But I just don't have those core sniper skills in shape. Have you guys used the sniper rifle much? What did you think?
In fairness to you, I don't think this is the sniper I will stick with if I do choose to get good again with a sniper rifle. There's something weird about this one. I know people like different archetypes and styles of snipers, but I just need that high impact, that slightly heavier gun with a low zoom scope, and I really hope I can sort of replicate that. But this one is weird. It's got the sort of take a knee perk, which I really try not to crouch that much, especially when I'm trying to line up a shot on the move. So that's not going to help me out too much in terms of my play style. I don't know. I really got to get my hands on some different sniper rifles and see how the other ones feel.
Yeah, it's just tough to be like, I'm gonna pick the thing that like limits all of my vision. It's like that's such a high zoom and ends up like getting rid of so much. So you basically are turning off like. And the other thing about sniper rifles is that like you can't do the quick zoom in, zoom out to check your radar because your radar takes forever to come back.
Dude, that hurts with all guns. I'm not a fan.
It's just one of those things like it's a D1, habit. Like you unscope real quick and you end up like affecting your radar and you get like blindsided by someone who rushed in or, got you from the side. So that doesn't play into snipers all that well. Like you spend a lot of time destroying your ability to, see who's around you.
It might just be a product of these two maps as well. Like on Endless Veil from the power ammo pickup, you can snipe up to B, but I think everyone's pretty familiar with that sort of lane at this point. And it's easy enough just to say like, all right, I'm going to go to mid and loop around or something. And then aside from that, like outside of the spawns, there's just not a lot of really long angles that would justify, giving up your radar in that way. But, maybe we're going to get some longer, narrower maps. Maybe we'll have a Pantheon equivalent where that really does make sense. Or maybe, if you want to snipe, 2 people head to power, one person has a sniper and says, I'm going to pick it up. It's his teammate's job to stay unscoped and watch radar and sort of work together on that to support your sniper, which is kind of how it works with actual snipers in the real world. That should be interesting.
So I do have one final question for you guys. Now that we've sort of talked about each slot individually and some kind of pairings that we like, how did you guys change your loadouts between each game mode when we were switching from control to countdown? Did they change at all?
I'm still struggling with it. I don't know what to pick.
Yeah, part of it is very fresh, right? Like we don't even know what the guns do. It's a lot of just switching for the sake of switching.
I was going like short range for Countdown and
Really?
long range for Control.
Agreed. I mean, once I got my Nurgle on the Hunter and I could just do Skatelock Nurgle, I just used that all the time. But before that, I had mentioned using the Black Scorpion, which I think is fantastic on that control map. Not as effective on Midtown. Midtown is mostly shorter lines and lots of cover, so it's so easy to leave someone with a sliver of health and they go recover from it. And so yeah, in that case, what was I using? I would switch from Black Scorpion over to that's a good question. I think if I were using Black Scorpion, I probably would have switched it over to Nurgle if I wasn't just using that exclusively. But I don't know. I mean, I think you want to have your loadout optimized for the game mode that you're playing. But having something that's good at short to mid range and something that's good at mid to long range and just having that as a general purpose solution, I got a lot of mileage out of. I felt like that was effective most of the time, and probably knowing myself, probably a version of what I'll end up doing in D2, where I just sort of find a general purpose setup and use it. But I could see on some maps going to, hand cannon SMG.
I actually really appreciated some range on Countdown because I felt like I could get a few initial shots off that would really bother them. Definitely not any sort of instant kill, but I could force them one way if I was first to the spot and started hitting them with a pulse or even a scout rifle. I just liked those open lanes you get outside by market, and I liked being able to shoot them as soon as they make their play. But I definitely needed something like the Minuet in the second slot. One thing I did change drastically between Countdown and Control was my power ammo. I used the Fusion on both, but Shotgun really only worked for me in Control. I could not get it to happen in Countdown. And part of that is just the way the games went. But man, when you are the second or the last person alive and they know where you are, getting up close is so risky just because it takes so long to kill some of these guys, and you don't have, 4 abilities that are going to come back before the fourth guy comes at you. So the shotgun was just terrifying, whereas the linear fusion or even the sniper, I could at least create enough space for myself to pick them off.
I don't disagree with you, but I think I came to the opposite conclusion. On Midtown, I felt like, you go to market to challenge, you've got a scout rifle out. I felt like it was so easy to get team shot, even at a distance, when you try and have a long range battle, and more difficult to tell if you're up against 1 or you're up against 4, that when I tried to sort of play the long game with a primary, I usually died pretty quick, but had much more luck in close ranges where you can really play corners and play angles and without a lot of movement, get back into cover, or just, jump around and be hard to track. I definitely felt a lot more comfortable in short range. I certainly see your point. And once power ammo's on the board, everything changes. But for me, yeah, I was, it took me all of D1 to wrap my head around, like really work the angles, really minimize your amount of exposure and work a corner and don't get too far away from cover. And then in D2, it was just like after the first game of Countdown, I was like, okay, that's how you do it. Don't step out. Do not stand in the middle. That is not going to work for you.
Yeah, it is so enticing to just want to get that first kill and then stand out there and realize I just tried to engage 3 people who were all behind that corner.
Yeah. I think Destiny 2 doesn't lend itself all that well to like clutches. Like you were saying, Bones.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of a
clutching
weird...
the 3v1 is like nigh impossible. Like you are going to get team shot. You're going to get attacked all at once. They're going to collapse on you. You don't have the resources to like really clutch it like you would in D1, like a sniper rifle. I can like rotate and pick up, some more fusion ammo or sniper rifle ammo, or hope that I get the heavy and I get to like take them out easy. It's not a bad thing, but it's just something that was in Destiny 1 that probably won't be in Destiny 2.
One thing I haven't done is play a high recovery build. I wonder if that doesn't help with that, because I'm sacrificing recovery at this point, and you really feel how long it takes to come back, and like escaping from an engagement and then flanking around and thinking, yeah, you know what, I'll take the long way. I need a little bit more time here. But I guess before that, just killing someone, the time to kills are pretty consistent, but they are on the long side. It's tough to get a kill with a primary without subjecting yourself to a lot of damage in the first place. Yeah, you just don't have that, that crispy 3-tap where you can kill them before they happen to land that first shot on you. Especially when everyone is using hand cannons, where if you miss, you miss, versus an auto where they might ding you a little bit. It's harder to come back. It's easy enough to get that first kill, but when you're getting pushed and you don't have your health back, you've got no kit. The grenades are not huge power plays with a couple exceptions. It's going to be interesting. Carry is going to be a weird thing in D2.
Yeah.
I have to think about that.
Certainly coming down to a team-based kind of thing. There's no solo carries seem unlikely.
That being said, I certainly played against teams where there was a single player on it who managed to kill me every single round. So maybe there's something there. But I guess that's it. Like, if you're going to clutch it, you have to clutch it before all of your teammates die, which is not really clutching it. But there's still room for power players to go off, but not on their own.
How about those clutches where you get a nice triple down at the fusion and then still blow up to the bomb?
Oh, yeah. Shax, I only heard it once. Shax says something really funny when you get exploded, like, I get exploded all of the time. It's part of the job. You'll be okay. Or something like that. It's just like, okay. That makes it a little bit better. But yeah, the pressure of diffusing on Countdown is palpable. And it's so great when you're all dead and the other team is all like dancing. They think they got it and they all just get exploded.
Well, guys, that's a pretty good recap of our initial thoughts on Destiny 2.
And that's just the shooty parts.
That's the shooty parts, yeah.
The first hour and a quarter of our initial thoughts, because, there are more.
So, Swain, you have to go start your other characters.
I was actually thinking about it tonight.
You at least have to know what the hunters do and what the abilities are called.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Bonesy, of the 6, which is the one that you are like, you've played the least and you feel the most like obligated to say, like, all right, I should just play some gunslinger?
It's tied between Gunslinger and Sentinel, if I'm being perfectly honest. I had a good game with Sentinel. I was very happy with, but it's not quite the obscene dominant force as the ads made it look, or as whoever was playing in that one reveal vid. Gunslinger, struggling with that one. I'm not sure how to feel. So yeah, I'm probably obligated to play some more Gunslinger before the week is out.
I was kind of surprised that Dawnblade just wasn't that fun for me. Like, I got so turned off by that Angel of Mercy kind of perk that I'm sure I could have spent some time learning to use effectively and do well with. But I thought I'd be playing a lot more Dawnblade. But yeah, I need to go play it and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But
that Icarus dodge, I'm so glad we got that on the Warlock side. But I don't know. Maybe you might like the other skill tree more, that you can drop straight out of the air, kind of the opposite of what currently happens.
That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh man, I think it's pretty clear that there's 12 subclasses. Like, it genuinely feels like there's 12 completely different play styles, which is awesome.
Yeah. I think one of the things pulling me to Dawnblade is the Firebolt. Like, I haven't used them much. I never had much luck with them. But I felt like in the last 3 games I played, I would be dead and just watch someone at half health get tagged by a firebolt. And it just like reaches out with fire and just punches you to death. Like, I don't know. Firebolt's back. All right. We wrapping up as
Get
always.
out of here.
Get out of here, everybody.
As always, we're wrapping up. It's the end of the show. And you know what, guys? I'm not ready to apologize, but I will say that recording a sloppy podcast, let's put it that way, it was a one-time deal. I acknowledge it is taxing on other people to listen to me when I'm like that.
Acknowledgement is probably the best we'll get out of you.
Yeah, no, take it, run with it.
I feel stronger as a team already.
Let's go into some Destiny 2 and use our team building skills. Execute them in the Crucible.
Yep. We're going to be doing a lot of trust falls and birds.
Apologize to your team when you steal the power ammo. I know you did it.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, check us out on all of the different places. CrucibleRadio.com, Twitter, Crucible Radio, Twitch, Crucible Radio. There's going to be some fun stuff coming up. So check it out.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
I'm going to go play.
The moon is making shapes on the back of my neck. I hear it following closely behind at night.
Hey everyone, we got some music this week from Hawk. They're Irish, they're English, they live in Berlin, they play Destiny, they're everywhere. Go check them out, hawkofficial.com. And if you are a musician, send us an email with some of your songs to crucibleradio@gmail.com.
Keep it close to my heart before you take it away. Would I spit on your street if I knew where you lived? Would I knock on your door and run away? To sleep in the dark before you take it away.
Hello everyone, Swain here. You know that Crucible Radio is your source for all things Destiny PvP, and I know you want more than just this video, so make sure to head on over to crucibleradio.com to find all of our past episodes, detailed Crucible maps, t-shirts, and much, much more.